But we're going to talk about Oklahoma and Alabama's opening spread here in just a second on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Over at FanDuel, the line for Oklahoma at Alabama J is sitting at 7.5, favoring the Crimson Tide at home against your Sooners.
For perspective, Alabama is a 9.5 point favorite right now against LSU in this coming weekend's game, which is very fascinating to me because for the uninitiated, when it comes to sports gambling, when the spread that's set by Vegas, books usually give the home team a 3 to a 3.5 point favoritism, right? So if you're supposed, the standard favorite is 3.5. Neutral site, you take 3.5 away. That's what the neutral site number would be. So neutral site favorability is why that conversation comes in, which means that Bama will be like a 3.5 point favorite-ish, roughly 3.5 point favorite on a neutral site. Not too bad. But that means that if you come to Oklahoma, which is a 6 point swing, they'd be like a 1 point favorite. That's low. Last year, it ballooned up to 17.5 by kickoff. It was starting at 14.5, and it moved up to 17.5 last year when we pulled the massive upset of destroying them. Just the fact that it's only 7.5, man, makes me feel a little bit weird about that one, dog. I'm not gonna lie.
You feeling froggy about Oklahoma on the road as a touchdown underdog?
I'm trying to figure out, is it a trap? Like, are they trying to get more Alabama people all over that money? Because 7.5 just feels low for an Alabama team that is a really good pass game, but they don't have a good run game. Mm-hmm. And their defense is nowhere near what it was the last, the Saban era. Like this year, their run defense is in like the between 60s or 70s. Total yards and like efficiency is like in the 30s. Mm-hmm. They're not very good on the defensive side like you would expect. They also play Georgia very well, and then they just kind of don't. It doesn't feel like DeBoer matches up well against Brent Venables for some weird reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be curious to see what this looks like this year with Ty Simpson throwing the football versus Jalen Milroe. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma's not been great against the spread this year. It's a team that, listen, under Brent Venables, they've played a lot of games a lot closer than probably people would have liked. They're 4-1 this year against the spread. Mm-hmm. Last year, and I'm looking at teamrankings.com for these numbers. But last year, again, when everything was not favorable for Oklahoma, they were 6-7 against the spread. But I feel like they play pretty well, as a road team. They usually play a lot closer than what would be expected. If you're looking at last year, I'm trying to find it really quick. As an away underdog last year, the Oklahoma Sooners were 2-1. This year, they've got the win over Tennessee, where they were a road underdog going into that one, and so they've got that win. So listen, I if it's 7.5, I kind of like Oklahoma plus the points in that. And listen, I haven't gotten to my prediction yet, but OU is going to have a chance to win this thing outright altogether.
Yeah, I mean, what was the spread? The spreads we didn't cover was Texas, Kent State, Ole Miss. So yeah, Texas, Kent State, Ole Miss, and what else?
Let's see.
Because we covered Michigan,
Illinois State.
Yeah, Illinois State. There you go. So if you look at that, I mean, the two games you're supposed to blow a team out, you really didn't. You understood why you didn't, right? Mm-hmm. They just kind of they blew out Temple, but they just kind of played around with their food in those other games. Yep. And you had a new quarterback in the Kent State game, so that makes sense. The Ole Miss, when you should have covered. I mean, you were a 5.5-point favorite in that game. You should have won that game, but you lost it, so that's not good. Texas, you didn't cover, because you lost by 17 in that game, but you covered the Tennessee spread on the road as a neutral site pick'em. You won that one, right? And then Michigan, of course, and then Auburn was kind of your even because you were a 7-point favorite. So as a dog, you really only didn't cover one spread. Every other game, you were a favorite. This year, at least.
Yeah.
This is only your second time as a dog in which, if I'm looking at this correctly, I don't think Oklahoma's going to be a dog for the rest of the season outside of this Alabama game.
No,
they should not be a dog against Missouri, and they shouldn't be a dog against LSU. Be interested in cover it.
Yeah, I mean, those games will probably be Oklahoma within a touchdown as a favorite. But I mean, a lot of that's going to depend on how Zollers looks for Missouri this week against Texas A&M. I mean, if he goes out and he looks like a true freshman and really, really struggles, that line could be double digits favoring Oklahoma going into that one. But if he plays well, it's going to be Oklahoma a slight favorite. But there's just something different about this team on the road. We saw it even last year. They beat Auburn on the road with a true freshman making his first road start with Michael Hawkins Jr. They played Ole Miss really, really closely in that one. Remember, they led that game at halftime and then just couldn't get anything going offensively in the fourth quarter to really keep that lead. And then the LSU game, they were playing well against LSU in the first half. And then Garrett Nussmeier decides he's got the winter soldier shoulder and decides to just start slinging it down the field and testing Oklahoma's cornerbacks. And true freshman Eli Bowen wasn't really up to the task at the time. But again, they played well in a hostile environment for a half with the worst Oklahoma offense in 25 years. So yeah, I kind of like Oklahoma on the road at Alabama, just from a betting perspective. I think that, I could see that line kind of dropping a little bit as money goes on Oklahoma, as people start digging into it next week. And you could see that turn into like a 5.5, Alabama minus 5.5 by the time we get to game time.
That would terrify me. If that happens, then we're going to lose, and Alabama's going to cover the spread. That's a Vegas baiting way of that. Of course, their goal is to balance the books as much as possible.
Yeah.
To me, it's with all the money going on Oklahoma, and if the line goes down, there's a chance that they're trying to get more people on the Bama side to cover themselves. Because there's a chance Oklahoma team could win, or they're just trying to make more money off of it, right? Like if the line drops a little bit, they want more Oklahoma people on it. There's a lot of different philosophies when it comes to that. So when I look at that part of it, it's still early. That's the good thing. They play LSU this weekend. To me, Sunday, you'll really get a good line understanding because, truth be told, again, they're a 9.5-point favorite in that game. If that line goes double digits, that's not good for DeBoer. DeBoer has not been good as a double-digit favorite in games. That has actually been his kryptonite.
Team rankings right now has Alabama as a minus 12.5.
Woo!
Yeah. So, again, some things to be adjusted after the games this week. And to me, so much of it depends on which Oklahoma offense shows up in this game. Is it the up and down offense that we saw against Ole Miss? Is it the up and down offense we saw against Tennessee, just finding enough plays to go win the football game in the second half? That's going to be the question. If they can find some plays, keep that offense going in the second half. Really, they had not much of an offense in the first half. It was all the defense and special teams that really gave them the opportunity to get that lead. And then the offense came out in the second half. If they build on that offensive performance from the second half going into Alabama, then I like their chances to not only cover, but even just win the game. Again, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be maybe the toughest test Oklahoma's had yet. And I feel like we've been saying that each week since the Texas game, right? Not counting the South Carolina one, but like Texas was the most difficult test they'd had to that point. And then Ole Miss was the most difficult test. And then Tennessee was the most difficult test. And it's been a roller coaster ride. Those grades are not a linear progression. Can they build off of what we saw against Tennessee, go get a difficult road dub? I hope so. We'll see.
Yeah, the challenge is going to be there for them. The good thing is that rankings wise, Alabama is a solid offense. I don't believe they're as good or better than Tennessee and Ole Miss. So they're probably the third best. Now, statistically, Alabama is the second highest rated, numbers wise, raw number wise. They're one of the second total offenses in the SEC. They're in the passing, right? Like total, they don't run the ball well. So they're all a passing offense. They are second in passing, 291 a game. Tennessee's at 329. They're the highest, with Ole Miss right behind them at 289. So they pass constantly, but Ole Miss runs the ball well at like almost 200 yards a game. Tennessee's not good at that. They're about 170, and we held them to under 100. But Bama's 14th in the conference at 118. They cannot run. So they're 100% reliant on Ty Simpson. Now, the difference between Ty Simpson compared to a Jalen Milroe is Ty Simpson sits in there, he throws darts. He just dots you up. Whereas Jalen Milroe would leverage his legs a lot more than just throwing the ball. So this could be a mixture of Ole Miss, Tennessee with like no running where they're just throwing it. And the question is, can Ryan Grubb cook up something that, makes Brent Venables' head spin?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if Oklahoma's able to keep Alabama one-dimensional, which I think they will be able to, because you look at the last 6 games for Alabama, they're averaging just 108 rushing yards per game, 3.3 yards per carry.
They're bad.
Not good. And and that includes a 146-yard outburst against Vanderbilt where they averaged 3.8 yards per carry. So anyway, there's going to be a lot in this that favors Oklahoma, but again, this is a really good passing offense for the Crimson Tide and a really good passing defense. It's going to come down to, can Oklahoma stop the run and can they run the ball? It's going to go back to those old school football philosophies. Yeah. Will Ben Arbuckle be willing to lean into those old school football philosophies? We'll find out. And that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in, being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. Follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, on YouTube for more college football and Oklahoma Sooners coverage. You can follow me at John 9 Williams and read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms. And for the thousands and thousands watching and the millions worldwide, Boomer
Sooner.
And again, it's a great day to remind everybody to run the dang ball.